very much for the applause, but if you can hear me, if you just type in on the bottom left-hand side, and then I think Andy's going to freeze the chat just while I go through my presentation. I hope you can see me okay. We did do a little check earlier, and Andy wasn't very happy with the lighting, so I've moved to a different room, and hopefully you can see me okay now. Normally when I do these things, I just have a picture up because it kind of puts me off looking at myself. It's like talking to a mirror. But hey ho, you know I'm real, so fantastic. Okay, so firstly, thanks Andy for inviting me along tonight. It's nice to see that I've got more people coming to see me tonight than I did last time, so hopefully that means I did something cool, and we'll have something interesting for you tonight as well. I'd also just like to personally welcome and applaud all you new guys that have joined us tonight, and certainly if there's any guests as well actually looking at the business. What I'd like to do this evening is tell you a little bit about our story, how we got involved in the business, how we learnt about the business and learnt how to progress till, like Andy says, we were able to escape the rat race, give up our jobs and live our lives doing what we want to do and fit the business around it. And just to kind of start off, doesn't that just sound like a nice way to live? You know, do what you want to do and kind of fit your job or your business around your life, rather than trying to squeeze your life around a busy career or business, which is what most of us, you know, do end up doing out there in the marketplace or in the corporate world or whatever it may be. So I'm going to share that kind of journey with you today. And I hope you new guys pick up a little bit of inspiration from it, because I do believe very much in telling how it is, sharing our story, how we got started, because we'd never done anything like this before. We were totally new to it and kind of really bumped into it by accident. And for you guys looking at it, hopefully you'll realise, just like we did in the early days, that, you know, it's just ordinary people getting stuck in doing something very straightforward and really earning some extraordinary incomes. We had our own little business opportunity meeting on Tuesday night this week, and every time I kind of talk to people about the business that are looking at the opportunity, and I just, you know, I think about it and I just kind of assess it, and I think, you know, it is really so straightforward and so simple what we do. You know, sometimes I think people just complicate it, and if you just realise how simple and straightforward it is, and we've just got to get out there and do these tasks that make the business work, then the rewards are just absolutely phenomenal. So there's me, Jaime de Caso. You're probably wondering what Jelly Babies means. Well, kind of that's where it all started for me. I just could realise the other day, we've actually been in the business now for 16 years. So we started this time of year. So any of you guys are very new or started within the last kind of 6 to 8 weeks, we started this time of year, came through the summer and thought, yeah, we'll start clean easy, and then forgot that it goes really dark at night. And as we were working full time, all our retail was done of an evening, and some of the weather wasn't too pleasant either. But how did it start? Well, it was all about Jelly Babies. My background was working in hotels. I kind of got fed up with that industry, realised it wasn't really going to be a great career for any type of family life. So I got out of that and took a job working for a company called Trebor Bassett. So my staple diet basically was Jelly Babies, or licorice, all sorts. And I used to drive around all day with a car full of them, and I used to just crack on and get my day's work done as quickly as possible so I could come home and get stuck in with my clean easy business. So I didn't have time for lunch, I just used to eat Jelly Babies. And I used to go around to shops, petrol stations in the local area in Stoke-on-Trent, and basically merchandise confectionery. And I went into one of my garages one day, and the guy usually was pretty miserable. And this particular day, he was very happy and buoyant. He'd got some little business cards on the counter, just saying, too much month at the end of the money, would £200 to £400 extra help. Well, we were in a situation where I was lodging with a friend. Adele was still living at home with her mum and dad. We'd got okay jobs, but they certainly didn't pay a lot, and I was still trying to pay off some student debt, and we were trying to save up for our first home together. So any extra money was going to be helpful, so I asked him what he was doing, and he called me into his office and showed me this catalogue. Funnily enough, I've still got the catalogue that he showed us. Can you see that there? This was the catalogue that we joined the business on 16 years ago. Look how thin that is. There was not that many products in here, but you know what? We built quite a significant business on this catalogue. It's quite interesting. I was just having a quick flick through, and the MD at the time was a guy called Robin Kirkland. Now, I'm just going to put this up to the camera. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it okay. That's some old geezer with glasses on. That, to me, looks just like Jaime Stewart will in about 20 years' time. So I hope he's not on here and sees that. I thought it was quite amusing, actually. But just this little basic catalogue, we built such a significant business on, 16 years ago, and it has absolutely flown. So I asked this guy what he was doing, and he showed me that catalogue. And my first thoughts were, okay, why are you doing that? I knew he got 3 franchise businesses. I knew he was doing okay. Why was he messing about with catalogues? And he just said, look, people order from it, but there's a lot behind the catalogue. There's a big business behind it. And then he showed me a picture of a guy called Chris Mason Paul earning, I think it was £22,000 a month. Now, I was earning £11,000 a year, and I just was astounded that somebody was not earning twice as much as me, but they were earning it every month and not every year. So I kind of could not want to find out more, and basically the chap said to me, I'm looking to give up 3 petrol station businesses inside 12 months because I'm building this business. All I've done is stuck some catalogues out, I've got some orders, I put some business cards on the counter, and I think he got a team of 7 people already. And I used to visit him every 4 weeks, so I knew last time I went round he wasn't actually doing this. So just pick up on something here, guys. I didn't really understand it, don't know whether I believed it or not, but because this guy was excited, I wanted to find out more, and I ultimately wanted to join the business. What I had then got to do was explain to Adele that I'd found something that was going to get us rich, and it was clean, easy, and the only thing I could say it was similar to was Betterware. And that was a bit of a swear word because Adele had done Betterware, not earned very much money, and I was the guy that put her off doing it and made her finish and go and get a proper job, believe it or not. So I had to explain that we were going to do clean, easy, but it was going to be like Betterware, but it was going to be different as well. And this guy was going to show us why. So we came round, we got started, and went straight out with our catalogues, full of enthusiasm. We just saw this guy earning all this money, and I just thought, well, even if we earn a fraction of that, then, that would be great. So we got out there, put our first catalogues out after work. It was nice and dark, and put our catalogues out, collected them a few days later, and got the sum total of £5.98 in orders. In them days, we weren't posh and rounded it up like Marks and Spencer's. Most things were 99, and we had two products ordered, making a total of £5.98. So, to be honest, I wasn't overly thrilled with going out, walking the streets dark, late at night for the sum total of £5.98. I even worked out of my hourly rate, I worked out my profit, and I kind of thought, ooh, do I really want to do this? I spoke to friends, I spoke to family. I thought, I've got quite a big family, I'll tell everybody. And some of you heard all the stories before, but basically, in a nutshell, most people took the mickey out of me a little bit, called me Postman Pat, Avon Lady, all the usual. And I was kind of thinking, ooh, have I done the right thing here? Is it really going to work for me? And the guy asked me to go along to a meeting, local meeting, and find out a bit more about the business and to meet some other people. And if I'm honest, I really didn't want to go. But it was a bit of an awkward situation. I'd not long been working for Treeball Bassett. I got this new job, first time I'd ever had a company car, so I felt all special, and it was nice not driving around in a Bango. And I didn't want to risk that job at all, so I didn't want this guy to be disappointed and complain about me if I decided not to continue with his business. So to be honest, I went along to that meeting that night, kind of just to keep him sweet, and thought, well, if I've been along to his meeting and I've give it a go, at least he can't complain and say I haven't tried. So me and Adele went along to this meeting and obviously explained that we hadn't done very well in orders, and we sat down and the guy went round the room and said, who's got X amount of orders, who's done £100 this week, and a few hands have gone up, and who's done 200, and who's done 300, and who's done 400, and who's done 500, and I'm thinking, yeah, 500 a week. And people were putting their hands up still. And I turned to her down and I said, crikey, what blooming catalogue have they got? Because, you know, we're sitting there with £5.98 thinking, hang on, what's going on here? And the longer we spent at that open evening, the more we realised that, you know, well, these guys have got the same catalogue. It is the same business. We've got a choice. We can either find out what these guys are doing and get stuck in with it, or we can walk away. But then if we walk away, we can never say we had a chance. We never had an opportunity to do something with our lives where we could get a really good income and have a cracking lifestyle. And the more we saw that evening, the more we realised that, yeah, we could do it too. So just pick up on that. You know, if you want your people to do well, you've got to get them to events, whether they're online events like this or whether they're events where they're going to meet people. Ideally, get them meeting people, because honestly, guys, I believe there's only one reason why people don't join the business in the first place, and that's because they don't understand it. They don't understand the opportunity. That's why they don't join. And there's only one reason why people ever leave the business, and that is the same. They just don't understand what they've got hold of, and it's a real tragedy because it's such a fantastic opportunity. But guys, it's just the way it is. But do all your people the best service in persuading them to come along to events, whether, like I say, they're online or get to meet people in person. Because the more your people and the more you meet others, you'll realise that they're no different from you. And remember what I said at the beginning, the business is so simple, it's not complicated. You realise more and more that, yeah, as long as you get stuck in and do what needs to be done, you can live the dream, live the lifestyle, and earn the bucks too. So yeah, it all kind of started with Jelly Babies. We went along to that event, and a couple of things happened at that event. One, we realised we needed some more catalogues, and we needed to give it a proper go. So we actually went away with an extra 100 plus catalogues on the night. The other thing that we did that night is we set goals. I'd never heard of goal setting before, and the guy at the front was saying, look, you know, let's do goal setting tonight. You know, it's simple. Decide what you want and write it down. Now, bearing in mind, we got £5.98, so, you know, with less than £2 of profit, you know, it wasn't going to be a very long list. But the guy just said, look, imagine you've just won the lottery and you've got to spend it really, really quickly. You know, what would you do? So, you know, to start off, it was quite easy. House, you know, because we wanted a house. Wedding, because we wanted a wedding. Nice car, and then you just kind of get into it. And we just started writing loads and loads of stuff down, because simply the guy was walking up and down the aisle, and I was scared that he might not see, might see that we're not writing. So we thought we better write loads of stuff down because he's watching us. And we just started writing down all this stuff, and we just let our minds go. And we were just writing stuff that was way out of our league, with no idea if we were ever going to achieve it. But it was just some of the stuff that was maybe dreams that we had when we were younger, when we were leaving a school and college and university, all excited, ready to get into the marketplace. And you know, it doesn't take long, does it? You know, I mean, we kind of left college and uni around the ages of kind of 18 and 19, and by the age of 24, those dreams have been pretty much kicked out of us. So for people that have been in the workplace a lot longer than that, you know, it's really hard to try to realise that, yeah, you can have all the things that you really, really wanted. But generally what happens when we get into the job market, we realise that, no, somebody else is going to decide how much we're going to earn and how much lifestyle we're going to have and how much time we're going to have off, and, you know, how our life's going to run almost. So it's kind of hard to kind of break away from that and realise that, yeah, you can have what you want. So we started to write it all down. And little did we know what was going to happen to that list, but I'll share that with you in just a sec. But there was a couple of things that really kind of motivated us and kind of really drove us in the business in the early days. And it's really, really important to find out your reasons why. Really, really important. And somebody, I think it was Chris Mason Paul, said to me once, the opposite of not having goals is having nothing to look forward to. What a way to live your life, having nothing to look forward to, you know. So get yourself some goals, and these are just your reasons why to do it, you know. Most people, when they've done a day's work, just like we've done, they want to come home, have some tea, have a bit of a relax before the next day starts. Now you can decide either run your life and do that for 45 years of working life and then retire and be bored and wondering what happened with the last 45 years, or you could utilise that spare time and do something and invest in yourselves. But it all starts with why you're going to do that. Why are you going to go that extra mile and work on top of what it is you're already doing to create something. And for us, we just had one particular thing each, and my first one was a motorbike. And I've always been into motorbikes, really motivate me, just nothing, there's nothing like the thrill of doing 70 miles an hour in all areas, never any more than that, obviously. But there's nothing like the thrill of a motorbike, and that was my kind of driver. And I'd had motorbikes since I was 16, and I had to sell my pride and joy, because the only way we were going to save up the deposit for a house is if I sold the bike, paid off the loan, and kind of started from scratch. So I really wanted a new motorbike. Adele's main driver was her job. The job was okay, but she didn't like the environment she was working in, and she really wanted to get out of work. So these were just two things that were quite important. So it's great to have lots of different reasons why, but each stage of your business, you need something, one particular thing that's really going to drive you. And I remember on a number of occasions I'd be out after work and I'd be delivering my catalogues, and I just remember one night walking along. It was dark, it was light rain, just the kind of thing that you want to be doing after you've already done a day's work. And I just heard this little voice in the background saying, excuse me. And it was one of those people that come out waving the catalogue, walking down the street, excuse me, And I just thought, oh, I'm going to pretend I can't hear you. And I'm just going to keep walking because I just really don't want to have to look at you, you know what I mean? And then I made her walk a little bit and turned around and just said, oh, hello. And then she goes, oh, we don't want one of these. We don't want one of these. You can take that away. And I just asked her where she lived and crossed it down. And guys, you're going to come across these times, and it's like kind of where you draw a line and you think, now, the unsuccessful people are just going to throw the towel in at this point, and you're going to come up to these points so many times, but successful people are going to get over it and move forward. So there's lots of times in your business where it's going to be easy to walk away, and it's going to be harder to keep moving on. But walking away is where failure lives. Moving on and getting over it is where success lives. And this is where you need your reasons why. And I just thought, I ain't going to let you ruin my chances of having a nice new motorbike, because I'd never had a new motorbike before. I'd only ever had second-hand ones, and I had some really nice bikes, but always second-hand ones. And I just went out, continued putting catalogues out, and I was just chanting to myself, motorbike, motorbike, motorbike. And you've got to get these reasons why. And new motorbike was on that list, and that's one of the first major goals that we achieved. Not only did I want a brand new motorbike, I thought we're going to have new helmets, we're going to have matching leathers, we're just going to look so cool. And I know I look really slim on there, and I probably was a lot slimmer than I am now, but I've actually stretched that photograph a little bit, so I'm quite impressed. That's now my goal weight, actually, is to have a waistline looking like that. So, there's new goals all the time. But that was my first brand new motorbike. And do you know what, guys? When you start succeeding and you start making some money, and it doesn't have to be a lot, but when people start seeing that you're doing well, attitudes change. We had a lot of mickey taken out of us when we started. A lot of friends took the mickey. I remember a couple we told about the business, and they were like, oh, you'll never catch me doing catalogues. And when we had that motorbike, we just popped round for a coffee. And I had the number plate made at the back with a big sign saying, need an extra income. And they came out, had a look at the motorbike, were well impressed. How can you afford that? Showed them the sign, said, remember that little business? And they joined that week and did loads of catalogues. So, another point there, no doesn't mean no, it means not yet. And again, I'm going to kind of touch on that a little bit later as well. But, just let people see what's going on, because when you start succeeding, it really does change your attitudes. There were lots of little things we had on that list, but not long into the business, Adele was able to give up that full-time job. And that was just absolutely fantastic. We went to pick her up from work in a limousine. We were surprised that we got some of the team with us. And do you know what was really, really interesting? Lots and lots of people moan, and lots of people complain. But I just think that's what a lot of people just do, and they seem to be happy doing that, because one of the reasons Adele wanted to get out of there is because everybody was moaning all the time about the job. And do you know what? We pulled up with a stretched limo, drinking champagne out of the back. And everybody was there saying bye-bye, and we're going to miss you and all that kind of stuff. And they were actually saying things like, oh, you're dead lucky getting out of here and all that. And one of our team members had a video about the business. And do you know what? Not one of them would take the video off it. People would rather complain than do something about it. How bizarre is that? But you know what? That's just the way it is, you know. It really is just the way it is. So no expense spared. After I picked her up, I took her out for a nice meal. And we just really got stuck into the business. So we've done jelly babies. I always liked jelly babies when I was little. I also like Lego. And I was training myself for this business from a very early age and didn't really realise it. And there's a quote there that says it's how you do the hows, okay? Everybody can do stuff, but it's how you do stuff that makes the big difference. So what do I mean about that? Well, there's a big pile of Lego. That pile is only going to get so high as you keep chucking more Lego in. And my little boy likes his Lego as well, and he just sticks one block on top of the other, on top of the other, on top of the other. Now you look at that big pile of Lego, and it looks quite high, but if you started pulling all those blocks on top of one another, how high would that reach? So it's how you do the house. You can just chuck it all together, or you can build it well and build it properly. And the business is all about building blocks, right? It all starts with you creating your turnover, okay? And let's just say 10% is your first building block. And what we did is we got over the 598, got some more catalogues, and really got stuck in with the retailing. You know, I joined because I wanted to earn, you know, 20 grand a month, to be honest. I'd seen it, if somebody else could do it, I wanted to do it. I was never going to earn that from doing catalogues, but if I wanted to get to that level of income, I had to learn how to do the catalogue, because that was the first stage on the building blocks. So it's all about doing 10%. So if you could do 10%, you could simply show somebody else how to do 10%. 10 to 15 people in your team doing 10%, you're a gold distributor. So all you're doing is you're putting catalogues out, showing people how to do the same, and building a team. So if you get to gold distributor, to move on from there, it's just the next building block. It's showing people how to do what you've just done, how to find people who want to do 10%, who then want to find people and get to gold distributor. And really, it's just all these little stages, but it all starts at doing regular turnover, recommending the business, and showing people how to do the same. It's just building blocks. That's all the business really is. It's just building blocks. And if you want to go to Dubai this next conference in 2013, it's just about building the blocks. But you've got to start correctly. You've got to start with your own turnover, regular, whatever it might be. It might be 10%, it might be 13%, it might be 15 or 18% if you need more immediate income. But start with your own building blocks and just move on from there. So it really is how you do the hows. Okay, so why did we get to enjoy a level of success? Well, we set goals in the first place, and we'd never heard of setting goals before. We'd never done that before, but we kind of just bought into it, and we wrote all these things down. And we worked hard. I mean, working hard, I think most people, you know, aren't scared of hard work really when it comes down to it, but it's just about working hard on the right things. So, you know, we weren't scared of the graft, so we got stuck in. We came home from work and we got straight stuck into our business. And we knew it was only going to be short term. I always remember a friend of mine saying to me that, you know, Clean Easy wasn't for him. He wasn't a workaholic like me. And I thought, oh, crikey, no, you've got it all wrong here, because, you know, I certainly aren't a workaholic. But it was what I was working for. I was working to get my life, to own my life, and to do the things that I wanted to do. So I was working really hard evenings and weekends so that I didn't have to work for somebody else all my life. 3 to 5 years hard for yourself beats 45 years for somebody else any day of the week. And we listened to tapes and we read books. Really important. There's a simple phrase. You can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are. But if you don't develop and you don't become more than you are, you're just going to always have what you've got. So guys, you need to develop, you need to find a few you know, new skills. You know, a lot of the business really is just about what's going on inside your head. It's just thinking differently. It's how you react to those "excuse me ladies" and whether you cross that line or not. And that's just all about programming your head and getting your head right. And one of the great ways in order to do that is to look for mentors. Speak to people that are successful in the business. That's what we did. We looked for mentors, people that we could look up to and people that we could learn from. And we just went to every possible event. It's really, really key to mix with the right people, and they'll pull you forward. And basically, we just realised that there's no other way to create this kind of lifestyle that was on offer. We've got two choices. Do we stay with the moaners, who moan and moan and moan and never seem to want to do anything about it? Or do we do something about it? Do we break away from the crowd and get stuck in? And that's what we decided to do. And another bit of advice that we had in the early days was never take financial advice for somebody who's broke. And you know what, there was lots of people in the early days that wanted to give us advice, but it was interesting how the people that we knew that had got businesses, that had got money and were entrepreneurial, were really, really supportive of the fact that we were trying to do something and get out there and make a difference. The only people that ever ridiculed us were the ones that weren't doing so well themselves. Anyway, that's how we got started. I hope there's a few kind of little lessons in there that are going to help you guys with your business and help your new guys with your business. What I want to do now is just share our vision, because honestly I think we're in the most exciting times that there's ever been within Clean Easy, and I just want to share with you a little bit of our vision. I'm just going to have some water. Andy said, "Would I have wine tonight?" I don't drink a lot of wine. Always water on a webinar. Okay, the product development is absolutely fantastic. When I just flick through this catalogue that we used to have, the stuff was great, but compared to what we've got now, the stuff we've got now is absolutely fantastic, and we've seen some major developments in the products, not only in the range of stuff that we have, but the quality now is absolutely fantastic, and that's just going to help our business move forward, and we're going to see so much more and more of that as time goes by, and we're already seeing a lot of that now with the e-commerce side of the business. E-commerce, I think that is just going to revolutionize our business. It really, really is. I think it's the biggest thing since we went from suitcases perhaps to catalogs, and you can just see straight away, if you look at the brand new website and the new shop that the company put together, which is excellent, just some of the quality of the products and some of the offers that are available now to our customers are just fantastic. The company now are seriously looking at moving outside the UK. They've got this massive goal of going from 60 million to 600 million. Now, whether you feel that sounds ambitious or not, from 6 to 600, that's steady growth, really. We've been fortunate to meet a lot of business people and network gurus that have spoke at many Clean Easy events, and they can't believe we're so small with the product range that we have. When we start moving our opportunity into other countries, this thing will go global, and that will be down to the fact we've got all this party plan stuff now, we've got e-commerce, and the thing's just going to get huge. There's companies, network marketing companies, not doing 60 million a year like us in a small island in like the UK, but they're doing 60 million a month, and that's kind of where we're going to end up. So you really, really couldn't be, in a better place, but you've got to really get stuck in with it. Now, a lot of you, I'm sure, have seen this before, but it's just really interesting to kind of remind ourselves how the business can work. Okay, you're not looking for an army, you're just looking for some generals, and you'll create your army by doing that. You just start on your own and find 5 good people. If you find 5 good people in your lifetime, you'll make a fortune. Okay, because just help people copy you, get onto those building blocks. 5 by 5 is 25. They all find 5, it's 125. They all find 5, it's 625. They all find 5, that's 3,125 people. Just 5 levels deep, and the company pay us 5 levels of gold distributor, not people deep. So it's a huge opportunity, and it's just getting it right in the first place, getting your first blocks correct so that people copy you. Now just have a look at the average sales of generally networks globally. Not many of them do £50 a month. Okay, so this is a month. Okay, just look at £50 a month, what can happen. Okay, you do £50, they copy you, do 300, they copy you, introduce 5, they all do £50 each, and it goes 1,500, 7, 8, 39,000, 195,300 pounds. This is just on £50 a month. Do you know what, guys? If you just stopped buying the stuff that we sell in our own catalogues from Tesco or Sainsbury's or wherever you do your weekly shop, if you just start buying from your own shop, you could probably do £50 a month. You know, if you just opened a florist, would you go to Tesco to buy flowers? No, you get them from your own shop. So just by using the products yourselves, you could come up with £50 a month. Just by recommending some products, maybe online on Facebook or just to some friends and sending them links to your online shop, you could easily do £50 a month. And just look at how that can duplicate. Because you know what, £50 a month will actually pay all your hub charges. So you've started a business for nothing. It's going to cost you nothing to run. Share it with people and you can make an absolute fortune. A turnover of 195,000 in Clean Easy. Go and ask any of the leaders that have got a turnover of a couple of £100,000 a month. They'll tell you that their income sits anywhere between £6,000 and £8,000 every 4 weeks, a couple of grand a week. Okay, most people in the UK never get to achieve a couple of grand a month. With this, you could earn a couple of grand a week. Now, in reality, what happens? People do a lot more than £50 a week. I think the average sits nearer 400. That's because we get stuck in with our catalogues, we do parties, and you know what? I really do see in years to come, people will end up doing more online than they're doing with their catalogues. Because with your catalogues, there literally is a ceiling to how many you can physically do and how much time you personally have got. But online, personal sales, I reckon at one point will overtake with online than they do with catalogues. But just look at current turnover, you know, averaging around about 400. You know, you take that 5 by 5 principle, you know, you're looking at 1.5 million turnover every 4 weeks. And yes, people in Clean Easy are doing 1.5 million every 4 weeks, just in the UK. Just imagine when this goes global, okay? We're just a small island when you compare us to the rest of the world. This thing is going to go absolutely huge. So just to share a few tips with you now on Clean Easy Direct. It's all very new, it's all very exciting, and you know what the best part of it is for me, and I think it is for everybody else, it's the best sponsoring tool we've ever had. We've been in the business now 16 years. In the last 3 weeks, we've sponsored 3 people from our warm market because we've talked to them about what's going on with the online shop. We've sponsored loads of people now, all excited about the online shop, and guess what? They're joining because of the online shop, because of what's happening and where it's going, but some of them are going out doing catalogues, some of them are doing parties, and some of them have sponsored people that are doing catalogues and parties. So it is the best sponsoring tool that we've ever had. You know, people say to you now, you know, oh, Clean Easy, that catalogue thing, do you know what? There's so much more to this business than catalogues. You know, would you like to take a look? So it's a fantastic sponsoring tool, so I strongly recommend you speak to everybody that you know, whether you've told them about the business 100 times or not, tell them again. Speak to people that maybe have been in your business before and the circumstances have changed and they're not with you at the moment. They might be interested in coming back. And speak to people maybe that have inquired previously, and they might take a fresh look at the business. So it really is a fantastic sponsoring tool that we've got. And then what you need to do is you need to harvest email addresses. Now there's lots of people that are more technological minded than others. I don't know that much about the internet, but you know what? I can find people that do. I can sponsor people that can do stuff on the internet better than me, and we can all learn. I've never done anything like this before, but I've learned how to get good at it as time's gone by, and it's the same with the internet. So don't get frustrated, perhaps that you don't know a lot about the internet, because you know what? People are going to learn, and the great thing about this business is people share. So it won't be long before you get up to speed. But early days, recommend you really start to harvest email addresses. I think the best orders online are going to come from the fact that we can send out information and special offers to people that are either our customers, our friends, relatives, or wherever we may have got some email addresses from. If you look at the shop now, there's a saving of over £200 on a really cool pant set. While having worked in catering, you know, I'm a fan of cookware myself, and that looks a really, really good buy. So, you know, there's all these offers and things that you can send out to people. So just start harvesting email addresses and speak to your upline and find out how to get the best use of those email addresses. Next thing is to build relationships and build rapport. This is really, really important. You know, what we do with our catalogues is we recommend products, but if we're recommending stuff personally, if we're using social media, which is a massive opportunity, we've really got to use it properly and we've got to use it carefully. So build relationships. Now, I've been on Facebook for a long time, and hello if you're one of my friends, and sorry that I've never really put a lot on there. To be honest, I've not used it a lot. Now, if I suddenly start throwing adverts on there, people aren't going to take much notice because I've never been on there before. So I'm starting to put a little bit of stuff on there, interesting stuff, so that people show an interest in you and what you're about and what you're interested in and that sort of thing. That's what social networking is all about. And then when you come along and you perhaps recommend a product that you can recommend because you personally used it, then people might look at that and then purchase that product because they've got a rapport and a relationship with you online. So that's the best way of marketing stuff. Don't recommend products that aren't products that are maybe things that you personally would use or have bought yourself. I really strongly recommend that you only talk about products that you've used yourself. And the thing is, if you can honestly put stuff out there that's really cool, and there's so many Ace products. I mean, our house is full of stuff. If people buy it as well, then they're going to think, oh, I'm ever so glad that Jamie recommended that because, it's an excellent product. And you know what? Next time I recommend something, they'll probably buy it without even thinking. So just build relationships and rapport, certainly with social media. Don't spam. Don't just keep putting advert after advert after advert, because people will stop listening to you and they won't be paying attention anymore. And do be careful online. Don't just take the URLs from products and post them. You need to make sure they have your affiliate ID. I'm not going to try and explain that now, but do speak to somebody, and before you put links on your website or on Facebook or whatever it might be, make sure they're actually going to your site, so you're not just advertising them from anywhere else. And all this adds value to what you're doing, and if you add value by recommending products to people's lives, then they're going to appreciate that. So it's really important also to have patience. Not all of us are internet gurus, so it's going to take a little bit of time for us to learn the ropes. So maybe some people might build a really big business online overnight, maybe not, who knows, but I know we all can if we have patience and learn how to make the most of this fantastic opportunity. Really important, the last point there is, don't neglect the rest of your business. Don't stop putting catalogues out because you're now going to sit at home and just put posting on free websites. Don't stop doing your parties because now you're online. Okay, this is an addition to our business. This is what's going to help our business grow. So do look after the rest of your business. Keep doing what you're doing and use this as an extra weapon when you're talking to people in terms of sponsoring and a way of creating some extra sales whilst we all get to grips with it. Okay, so that's a bit about us, a few tips for you. What has the business meant for us? Well, I think Andy kind of summed it up. We've had some fantastic success with the business, and 16 years ago when we sat down and wrote that list of goals, we actually put time frames on them from 1, 2, 3, 5 and 10 years. And we looked back at that list a few years ago, and you know what, we crossed off virtually everything off that list, and some of it was stuff that was just, we thought, well, let's just put that down because it sounds nice. We put down a nice villa in Spain with a pool. We hadn't even got a house at the time in the UK. I was lodging with my friend, but 10 years in the business, and we've got a lovely detached property here in the UK, and we've got a holiday home in Spain. And you know what? We didn't know how we were going to do it, but we just wrote those goals down. And if I'm brutally honest, I've been a little bit guilty recently, maybe of wondering how we're going to get to the next level, how we're going to do this. And we went to an event the other week with a guy called Alan Pease, and we'd seen this guy before. He was absolutely fantastic, and he was brilliant this time as well. And he just said something, and he took us through some stories and some things that had happened to him that we hadn't realised. Some absolutely amazing stories, and I've not got time to go through them with you tonight, but it was certainly worth you finding out. And he just said, write down your goals. Don't even consider how you're going to achieve them. Just write them down. Write down what you want to achieve. And you know what? We did that night. We did that 16 years ago. We hadn't got a clue how we were going to do it, but we wrote them down and just wrote down our wildest dreams of what we can imagine our lives turning out to be. And we achieved everything on that list. So we've just done the exercise again, even this long into the business, we've done it again. Stop thinking about how we're going to do it, but just writing everything down that we want. And it's really, really weird how things start to happen, even in the last few weeks. some of the people that are joining our business now, people that I never would have thought would have joined the business, professional people with big businesses that are already making lots of money, but really looking at our business and jumping on and jumping into it because they see it as a fantastic way of earning a residual income. Most people in their lives never ever get to see residual income until they retire on a pension. And so don't be afraid, guys, of talking to people that are in business, because you know what, most people that are in conventional business are really tied to that business. They envy the free time that we have, they envy the flexibility that we have, and would like some of that too. So speak to everybody that you can think of. We're approaching people what we call on our chicken list. Ones we were kind of scared to talk to that thought would never want to join our business. And guys, these people are joining, and I'm really excited at the moment of what we can tell them about. Anyway, what have we achieved? Well, you can see there. If you just tot all that up, those holidays can be worth up to £5 a head. So each time it's like 10 grand's worth of trips. If I'd have stayed working for Treebor Bassett, I would not have been able to afford the car that Clean Easy gave us and to go on all of those holidays. If I'd have saved every penny and lived in a cardboard box and saved all my salary, I would not have been able to afford the incentives alone that we've had from the business. And this is open to absolutely everybody. In November we're off to Miami. Really looking forward to Miami. New York was a massive goal for us. And to have Clean Easy pay for it was just absolutely fantastic. So we did that last year. This year it's Miami. We're going to go and top up the tan just before we go. So really looking forward to that. Because obviously it's a works do and we can't take the kids. We've arranged a little break with the kids when we come back. We always like to kind of spend a bit of time with them when we get back, and after a few hours it's kind of like, oof, it was nice having a bit of rest, wasn't it? But we do miss them, and when we get back we have a little break. And I was telling my little boy the other day that when we get back from Miami we're going to take you to London, and he said to me, when are you getting back from your Ami? He's so cute, and we wish we could just take him with us sometime. But hey, one day maybe we'll fly him out to one of these destinations to come and meet us. So another fantastic destination we're going on, and next year it's going to be even better. A twin holiday is just absolutely amazing. And guys, if you get stuck in now, there's no reason why any of you can't be there. So guys, go out and create your dream life. We've done stuff that we never ever thought possible. Many of you may know that we've spent time out in Spain. I'm half Spanish, that's why I've got a funny name. Always wanted to learn the language. Best way to learn the language is to go and live somewhere, and we've done that on 2 occasions now. Brought the kids up bilingual, and that's my latest toy. I've grown up a little bit now. Motorbikes aren't so clever when you've got a family, but this is my new motorbike now, the one that can fall over. You can take the kids on and you just get wet and get back on again. And if you look at the back of that jet ski, you'll see a little yellow rope, and this is what it's all about. It's just living the dream and having fun. And I went from selling jelly babies to now I pull the kids along on this big banana, and that's then all with their jelly baby t-shirts. So strongly recommend you just kind of get yourself a glass of wine or a cup of coffee, sit down and make the list of things that you really want to achieve in your life. Do not think for one moment how you're going to do it, but write them down, and you know what? The hows will just unfold in front of you. That's me for tonight. Thank you very much for listening. I'm going to stop the presentation now and hand you back over to Andy. Thank you and good night.